On May 25, 2014, Michael Corbett interviewed Dan Wagner at Virginia International Raceway. Dan explained why he launched Teen Driving Solution School.
I'll take you way back to when I was 14 years old. We had a girl who was close to our family, closer to my cousins than ours, but anyway, we knew her parents. I was 14, she was probably 18 at the time, and she was simply taking a 2-hour drive out of town with a girlfriend. And they dropped a tire off the pavement. She jerked the car back on the road, lost control, and got T-boned by a semi. Both those girls were killed instantly. I remember going to that funeral, and it was closed casket. They couldn't put those girls back together. And I've never forgot that. Those caskets, they had a picture on top of who the girls were. That was the only way anyone would know. And after that, my father would take me out in the country roads on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and he would literally drive the car off the road and show me how to bring that car back on. And he did that because he said, I don't ever want you in a situation like this. Fast forward now to just a few years ago. I had several nieces and nephews that started driving all at about the same time. And every single one of those kids was involved in a crash. Some of them were fairly serious. And I couldn't quite get a grasp on this. How does this happen in my own family? And so I wanted to know, what are these kids being taught that I wasn't? And as soon as I started doing research, the first thing I came across was that driving is the #1 cause of death for teenagers in America. And I thought, how can that be? In a country where we have the best road system, the safest vehicles, the best technology, how is it possible that that is the #1 cause of death? I couldn't wrap my head around that. And so then I started looking into what they're actually being taught. And I found out that the driver's education system that we have today is designed with one purpose, and that is to teach a teen driver how to pass the license exam at the DMV. That is their only mission. We are going to help you pass the driver's exam at the DMV office. After that, it's the parent's responsibility to actually teach a teenager how to drive that vehicle and how to do it safely. How many parents know how to do that, right? They've spent 30 years developing bad habits. They spent the last 15 teaching their teen all of those bad habits. So we've set these kids up to fail right out of the gate. We've given them nothing they need to work with. They know the rules of the road, but they don't know what happens when they turn that steering wheel and the car doesn't respond. The majority of fatal crashes involving teenagers is a result of dropping a tire off the pavement, jerking the car back on, overcorrecting, and going into a tree or another vehicle. 80% of these fatal crashes, statistically, 80% of these fatal crashes are preventable. They're preventable by putting them in an environment like this, where they can make the mistakes, where they can learn what's correct and what's incorrect, and they can practice that and then go out and implement it. Quite honestly, I started this because I needed to make a difference. We can't have driving as the #1 cause of death. If 80% of these fatal crashes are preventable, then somebody needs to prevent them. And prevention is education, training, and experience, and in that order. An example, when Captain Sully landed that plane on the Hudson River, he was in an interview, and they asked him the question, how did you manage to do that? And he said, for years and years, I was making small deposits in the bank of education, experience, and training. And he says, I had deposited enough that I could make a major withdrawal on that morning. The reward of a life that's spared, how do you put a price on that? So this is what we're here for. As I say to the teens when they show up, life matters. They're important. And we're going to do everything we can to protect them. I want these kids home alive every time.